welcome. You gotta excuse this look. Looking a bit rough. A bit rough. But anyways, I had to come out here because something happened yesterday. I saw something. I'm just gonna share it with you. I saw something yesterday that touched me. Let's say that. Because my sister's only child passed. And I wanted to gift her with a message or a reading from Mrs. Caputo, the Long Island Medium. If you haven't seen the Long Island Medium, maybe you should like Google it, or she has a new show coming out too. By the time you see this, the show will already probably be up and running. But she is a medium. And when my niece passed, before they put her in the ground, because she is buried, she has super duper strong activity, and she was showing that she was still alive. If you know anything about spirit, how they show you certain things, it's like when they die, like on an impact, like say an instant car crash you didn't see coming, or something fell on them, or all of a sudden they have a heart attack they wasn't expecting, and they got sick. They weren't sick, but they all of a sudden had an aneurysm or something like that. They don't understand that they have crossed over. You understand? So my niece was given that energy before they put her in the ground. Then after she got in the ground, she sort of settled out. But beforehand, she didn't know she was dead. Okay. I don't know if you're allowed to say that word on YouTube. So I haven't got my guide yet of what I can and cannot say. So back to Miss Caputo. Now, I know I was born this way. I tried to get rid of it. I tried to eliminate it. I tried to do a lot of things to suppress what the God of above has given me, right? And then I was like, I wanted Mrs. Caputo to do a reading for my sister, because it's like my sister that's right above me, she knew I had something, because I would always share it with her, because we were the last two in the household to grow up together. So I would say things that she thought was strange, thought was weird, until one day I said, I'm going to put a curse on you. But I was a little kid. She was like, no, I'm going to tell. So she knows a little different, but I did share some things with her that I could not help but to share when her daughter had crossed over before we even buried her, because her daughter was adamant about her knowing that she was still there, right? Okay. Anyways, so I was like, okay, I need to somehow get her a reading with Miss Caputo, because I felt that Miss Caputo had something. She had the sauce. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand that, but real readers, real mediums, when I mean reader, I mean like you don't need a card. You don't need a whole lot. God will give you the message that needs to be given to the individual, right? God will give it to you. So I was watching her on the Breakfast Club the other day. I think it was yesterday. And I was waiting to see if she saw, right? Because it wasn't a television show, it wasn't editing, it was the Breakfast Club. So it was live. So whatever she said was what she said. There was no takey backies, right? So I sat there, anticipated, and waited to see if she really had the juice, right? So they were asking her certain questions about how people looked on the other side and all that, jazz. And me and her said, hey, you. That's the kitty. She knows I'm mad at her right now. Anyways, so I was waiting to see when they asked her this one question, me and her, like I said it and she said it at the same time, like how people look when they pass over and they're older. We said the same exact thing. And when I was listening to her, I said, okay, she said, this lady is the truth. She's the truth. Okay? She sees it and gets it just like I do. And it's crazy because people come to you that know you have a gift like this, and they say, well, what are you thinking right now? Or what do you see around me right now? That's not the way it works. Like, you could be minding your own business, right? And then spirit, on the other hand, will say, hey, I got something to say to that person. Then instantly, you know, then you got that message. But if you're just hanging out and that's not what spirit wants to reveal, that's not what God wants to reveal to that individual, it won't happen like that, right? But like she does, she walks around her environment, her stage, is because she does hers like there's a room full of people, and she gives out the information that she's hearing, and that the person in the audience has to get it. You know, this is your loved one. This ain't Miss Caputo's loved one. This is your loved one. So you have to pick it up as she's giving it, and you're like, wait a minute, that sounds like Fred. Let me keep listening to see if it's Fred talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I get it like that. And then sometimes now that I'm older, I get it in puzzle pieces. It's weird. But when I was a kid, it was so vivid. And then she even thinks like me when it comes to like children and animals. I was so impressed. Not only that, it's like you could tell when somebody has something because, you know, she saw it and described it, the levels in heaven. Everybody don't go to the same heaven. Not only did they show me the levels of heaven, some person that, like, I'm not an avid Bible reader, but somebody who listened to me said, okay, well, yeah, it's in the Bible right here. Show me. You know how they explain that. So whoever wrote that part of the Bible, they experienced something, because that is so true. It works like that. Judgment works. So go back and watch it. It's Mrs. Caputo. What's her first name? Well, just look up the Long Island Medium on the Breakfast Club, and when she explains when you cross over and you have to meet the individuals that you have wronged, you have experienced, it's like a reel that they send in front of you, and you experience it all your life, flash, the way I was shown it all over again. And those things you think you hid from, got away from, that you, I don't have to deal with this and that. You will deal with it. No matter what you say, no matter how you think you can escape it, you will deal with it. So if you did some harm to me, you damn sure finna deal with it. But I'm so excited because it's like you people that if this comes across your feed and you are a gifted person, sometimes you wonder, like, is there anybody else like me? Like, I can't be the only one, right? She explained it just like I see it. So I know that she has a little something, because people say they're gifted, and then when they try to explain the situation, you at home, the gifted person, would be like, that's some BS. That ain't how it happens. And I don't care. You may not see it exactly the same way. What is that? Okay, because I ain't got my glasses on. It's an animal. But you may not see it the same way as the person, but in the end, it's delivered in a way that you see the same example, but in a different way, but it's ultimately the same example, right? So that's what Mrs. Caputo did. But Mrs. Caputo, she actually said it the way it actually happened to me. You know, so I was like, oh my God, yeah. I love this. I was right by saying, hey, if I wanted to choose a medium for my sister to get a reading for her only child, I would choose her. You know, because that way, me and my sister, she wouldn't think like, okay, you know my daughter, so you're saying this because of this. Miss Caputo does not know her daughter, so she would say it in a way from a third party bystander type of situation. But if you want to look at a medium, she is a true medium. She does have something. She has the sauce. Okay, let's see. And there's one medium I used to watch from childhood that is still alive today. He is famous. He is famous. People know him. He's a big name. And he's a big fake. Now, am I going to say his name? No. But when I was a child, I knew he was fake. I was like, that's not the way it happens. He's lying. As a child, I would say, he's lying. Just like that pastor that got held up in his church. Now, I have to say, these are my personal thoughts, okay? When he got held up in his church, instantly, I didn't feel, because I'm empathic. So I did not feel, oh my God, I feel so bad for him. He's such a good heart. He's such a good person. How could this happen to him? What I did feel was, why would anybody want to traumatize their church members in such a way? I felt that. Then I felt there's something wrong with this individual. Then later, the powers that be in the sky exposed this individual for allegedly stealing $90,000 from a woman. So my instincts was right about this person. You don't become a pastor in church and steal from your community, or use their money to get you a new Lincoln or a new Cadillac. That's not what a pastor should be doing. Okay? I take that very seriously. Like somebody said, oh, you should be a pastor's wife. Nope, because if my husband is doing something wrong and he's a pastor of a community, I would have a problem with that. Because you don't take God's people and God's money and use it for devilment. Okay? But there is, back to the subject at hand, there is a medium male that is such a fraud. Such a fraud. And you're going to pay for that later. You may think that you've got away with it. You're in your golden years. You're basking off the money that you've earned on people's sorrows. And why do I say people's sorrows? Because the people that come to you for mediumship are grieving over their loved ones. Grieving. And for you to take it upon yourself to come in and pretend to be something you're not and take money from people, and you don't even have the sauce a little bit, that's wrong. And then you don't put yourself across the United States of America and then some. Now, will I ever tell who you are? No, that's not my business. That's God's business to expose you for your devilish ways. Now, people may not like that I say devilment, because they say, like, oh, it's only one thing that me and Mrs. Caputo does not agree upon. And she says there is no hell. There is absolutely a hell. But it's not the hell that you've been described. Okay, that's been described to you. It's not that hell. The type of hell that it is a hell that you envision. You get what I'm saying? Now, hypothetically, you envision your ass burning in hell, in the hell that Hollywood has described from you to you, then that's the hell you will experience. But if a hell for you is a bunch of spiders just all over the place, just crawling all over you because that's your torment, then that's what you will experience. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to hell, maybe she didn't mean like literal hell, like she don't believe that's a literal hell. There is a hell, but not the way you've been described. Okay? But that person, you're going to have to deal with that eventually. You're not getting away with it. You're going to have to deal with it eventually. Everybody has to pay the piper, whether they choose to believe it or not. You have to pay the piper, because the piper is always waiting to get their just due. God put them in place for that. The universe put them in place for that. You know what I'm saying? However you call on them, they have people put in place to do the bidding. So you don't have to, I wish you would die. No, you don't have to do that. Because if somebody does something that's really bad or slightly bad, but what the universe doesn't see fit, if you worship Mother Gaia is earth. If the earth sees you do something that's unholy and not right, and they don't see fit, like say you just a person that's a fire starter. You just start fires everywhere you go. These are living beings and creatures from the Most High. These things breathe. They produce life. You will pay for that. Okay? Now, who am I? Am I God? No, I'm not your God. I'm not nobody's God. But I know what's real and what's not. Okay? And there's one other medium that I think has something. I love this medium. I actually manifested to see this medium in person. This is because when people say, oh, you can manifest a better life, you can. But if you have people that's following your every move, that stop and putting roadblocks in the way of every way that you try to manifest your life for the greater good or betterment, and they know your plan, and they're sitting there on the edge like, oh, let's see how I can block her today for shits and giggles. No matter what you do, you'll be at a standstill, but you can manifest. If people just mind their own business and get out of your way, you can manifest so many wonderful things, because I've done it. Okay. Um, I really, this is when I was younger, way younger, and I really loved this person because I was like, oh my God, it seems like he's like me. I even get misty, just thinking about how you could be a child. I wish I could help children that are like me so they can feel okay and comfortable. Because, like, you know how they say people who are LGBTQ, you know what I'm saying? And then they don't have anybody that's like them, and then they don't know who to talk to, who to run to, and then they end up committing the, endings for themselves because there's nobody. Same with spiritual people, because in certain communities, that's considered devilment in itself. You can't be gifted from God to do things on earth to help other people. That's, you sit back, that's God's will. But you don't understand that God puts the work in the people to help His people or struggling people. And people think, oh, they're on this or they're on that or they drink or they're this, so we're gonna put them over there. And us holy rollers, we're gonna just be over here. And it doesn't work that way. God puts something in you to help all people because that's what you're supposed to be doing. Back to what I'm saying. Okay. So this person, when I was a child, I used to watch him and I was like, oh my God, this person seems to be like me. All right. So I just kept thinking about him and watching him. And next thing you know, I was on his set. Right? See how God works? He says, oh, I need you to know. See, at that time, I did not know, who I was, what I was, how God was going to use me. I didn't know. So I think that was a message from God saying you are not alone. So kids need to know that they're not alone, whatever things they're going through, so they won't be like, okay, I'm all by myself, I'm going to end it. So I wish I could teach spiritual children, because children love me for some odd reason, and animals. So I wish I could teach children who are like me that they are not crazy. They are gifted by the Most High God. You're not evil. You're not demonic. You are gifted by the Most High God. You're not a dark witch. You're not all this other stuff. Anytime somebody has extra sauce, they always equate it to evil. People trying to stop your progress because you are gifted by God, that's evil. Anytime somebody tries to be God and derail God's plan, that's evil. Okay? Not because you have the gift to see something that somebody can't see. That's a gift. That's a miracle. If you are a Bible reader, they have miracles in the Bible all throughout. So you think that God stopped working just because it's a different day and time? It's 2024 and it's not, BC in those areas, No, God is still working miracles today. The universe is still breathing, alive, and ready to serve you if you just ask. But you better be able to give something back. Okay? So, this individual, I keep trying to get through it because it starts making me cry because I got the opportunity to see that I was not alone. I was not alone, that there was somebody out there like me. His name is John Edwards. Not only did I get to go on his set, I was paid to sit there and be atmosphere for their show, because in the beginning stages of a show, you need to have people in the audience because people aren't going to come because they don't know who you are, right? But I was not. See, this is how the chain works. Here's John Edwards. Here is me. And she died from COVID, I think last year, or right at the end of the year before. She was very gifted. So here's John Edwards. Here's me on set. And here's the gifted aunt watching me watch him. And she got up and was like, oh, there's my niece on TV with John Edwards. And she believes in spirit wholeheartedly. And I will talk about her in the present stage because she's still available. When she passed, she whispered in my ear that she had passed in her own voice. And then less than 5 minutes later, they called me and said, oh, she's gone. I said, I know, she already told me. Get what I'm saying? And then I asked her about my cousin, my favorite cousin in the whole wide world. I thought I would come to this city and retire and be here with him because we're this close. He was like a brother, not a cousin. And he passed away from diabetes. He was not obese. It runs in our bloodline. So he was a small guy, you know, and then he was eating wrong, passed out at the wheel of his car, hit a tree. He was paralyzed from the neck on down, and then he just died because he gave up. He gave up. He did not want to live being paralyzed from the neck on down. He's a, you know, it's sometimes that's the only thing I have a quorum with when you have good people, because he was a good person. The good people seem to go quicker, and the evil people seem to just linger. It's like, God, why are you still here? You know, but this is the devil's playground. God gave the devil dominion over the earth. So maybe the evil people get to stay here longer because this is where they belong. And the good people get to go to the kingdom. Now, some of you people may not believe the kingdom exists. It does exist, just not how you've been told. Anyway, because I'm getting emotional. But anyway, hopefully this helps someone understand that there is spirit. There are people with this gift for real. And hopefully you match up with the right person, and they can help you on your spiritual journey. I may not be that for you, but there is someone out there for you. God bless you, and may you enjoy the rest of your day. If I'm the one, please like and subscribe. My name is Jazz. Remember, you can contact me 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. There is a link where you can contact me. Ask your questions. Trust me, I will give you everything I got to help guide you in the right direction.